Hey, Joseph, how are you?
Good, Ray. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, same here. Same here. It's been a long time.
Very
Listen,
long.
yeah, thanks for coming on our show. And so just to give you some context of my show, and the show is between me and Sean, my son, that we put this show together. And our primary focus here is to help males all across the world to focus on a couple of things: their faith, their family, their fitness, and their finance in order to live a good life as you get older. Now, those we think are the four key elements that you have to combine together to work and move forward so you can live a good life. If you don't have them together and they're working for you, chances are you can have a hard time as you get older and stuff start to come along. Okay, so we're going to focus on the faith, family, fitness, and finance. However, I'm going to leave the faith part for last because you're a man of faith, so we'll give you some more time on the faith. So
Yes, sir.
just for my audience, I just want them to know who we have on show today here. So I have the man called Joseph Persaud. Joseph is a trained class 1, grade 1 teacher certified. He studied Bible studies at National Bible Institute in the US. He's a social and civic entrepreneur. He studied that at the Bath University. He's a language teacher. He was a language teacher, and now Joseph is the National Administrative Bishop at the Church of God. And I'm honored to have Joseph on the show. It's all you, Joseph.
Thank you, Ray. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. And the topics you have mentioned are amazing because those are what I live every day. I mean, faith. I believe that fitness is my weakest point. Now that I'm getting old and sad, now I need it. I stopped doing it much. I still do it, but I've made a plan the next few weeks to start again. In the next weeks to lose some weight because I'll tell you a lot about my fitness and my health and all that as we go along.
Good. So you want to share anything before we go, or are you ready for us to go straight in?
I'm good when you're ready. Good.
All right, excellent. So our first one, we will start with our finance. So as for me, what I think, finance is so imperative that as you're growing up, you have to start save money for retirement. You have to think retirement as you get older. Technically, you're supposed to think retirement soon to start working in my mind, but we all pass that stage and we wait for a long time to happen and times to come along and then we start it. But I think you have to start saving early for retirement. You have to plan your financial strategies out properly. What are your thoughts on finance, Joe, seeing that you've been on this path already?
And you're echoing my thoughts. It's extremely important for us, men, especially men, fathers, husbands, I was doing a research on, in fact, let me just back up a little bit. I was doing a research on the word husband. The word husband came from two words, house and band. House and band means the man is the one that bands the house, the family together.
Right.
So finances are key in bringing the family together. In fact, the text that I study a lot, the Bible says, money answereth all things.
Wow.
So any question that is asked, money can answer it, right?
That's
question of health, wealth, whatever you want to do, food, clothing, everything, shelter. Money answers that.
Yes.
The problem is, like you said, I did not think about. I was not trained. You see, Ray, we were not trained. We who grew up in Guyana, many of us, most of us, in fact, were never trained by our parents or peers on how to handle money. Money management is something foreign for us. Something foreign for us. Let me tell you what. After I became a pastor in 2006. I met a man who came to Guyana to preach, a Guyanese man who was an insurance agent in Barbados for many years, married to a Bajan lady, Richard Singh by name. He's pastoring there. He founded the church I'm pastoring right now. Harvest time on the West Bank, Wodron, West Bank, Demerara. And I started with the church because Richard had extensive resources on how to handle money.
Right.
He has done tremendously well, exceptionally well financially. He went to Barbados with $0 in his pocket, just to promise to work with a church in Barbados. When he got there, they gave him the smallest church. Richard is one of the wealthiest pastors in the Church of God in Barbados. He's Guyanese, married to a Barbadian lady. Wow. Now the man paid off his own house, drives a good car. His wife has a car. His children are all studied. They all have their masters. One of them has just graduated from Pennsylvania University with a PhD. And I can't remember exactly, but it's something to do with psychology.
Wow.
So he sent his children all to study to get their degrees overseas. One of his daughters graduated from Paris in economics. He studied in France, paid in full. So I'm telling you, I didn't know anything about money until I met him.
Right.
Didn't have no plans. I told my wife when I got married that we were gonna get our house when I'm 40. I didn't have a plan though. I had a promise but no plan.
There you go. There you go.
So, and you know, I was a pastor, not the one earning much. I quit my job full time.
Right.
The sad thing is that I did not even know I could have continued paying my NIS until many, many years after I passed it and lost all those years.
Yeah.
So finance is a thing that we have not been trained, but I learned. Thank God I came into contact with Richard Singh. Sat me down, he told me how I should go about getting a house. And amazingly, under my 40th year, as I promised my wife, now I had information in hand, I had the power. Yeah. I went after a house and I got a house. We just paid off. In fact, we just paid off. The last mortgage was paid 1 year in advance.
Wow.
This month.
Very nice. Very nice. Wow. That's amazing, Joseph. Good story. And I hope my audience is taking that into consideration. That money is critical. Save early, start planning, have a plan. If you don't have a plan, you're going to be in trouble, right?
Yep.
Thank you.
Promise that no plan is fail, man. It's going to fail.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
One of the things that I do when I do, Ray, sorry to cut, but one of the things I do when I do marriage counseling, premarital counseling, one of the things they have to study with me is financial planning, budget.
Oh, that's very good. That's very good.
Budget with our young people who are getting married, budget. I teach them things I never knew before that I had put in practice 20-something years ago. My wife and I budgeted for the last 29, 30 years.
Right. Wow.
I learned from a preacher online. I never know, as I said, nobody ever taught me this. And I learned it by trial and error, and I got it right. Thank God.
Yeah, you're doing some good stuff there, Joseph.
Yeah, man.
So let's go straight into family. I know you're a big family man. You have 2 daughters and a son.
Right.
How do you tie all of this together? I mean, you're a busy guy, right? You do a lot of stuff. Your weekends are taken. Your afternoons are taken. How do you hold your family together and live a life?
Well, I wish they would answer that, but I think it's always good. It's always easy to think you're doing good until they tell you you've not done well.
Yeah.
And I hope they would not say that. I mean, I do hope that if you ask them, they'd say that I'm a good father. But I've done my best. Truth is, I've done my best. I hope my best was good enough. It's good enough.
Okay.
My eldest daughter is now a dental surgeon. She's married to a dental surgeon, have their own practice. She's working with the government, but she opened her own clinic about 6 months ago. 6 months ago.
That's amazing.
Doing very well. Doing very well. My son is working with a company, an American firm that's working with employment on. He's into recruitment for our company here in Georgetown.
Okay.
The youngest daughter is just married. She's studying in New York. Oh. But as you said, for the early years, we had not much. We were struggling, trying to put our dollars together. So the eldest child, we never had much. I tell the people at church, I said, my strongest, healthiest baby is the youngest one, the eldest one who never had anything but tea. Yeah. He drank tea without milk many times.
Wow.
But the thing about raising children, we have to make it intentional, to take time to be with them. The good thing is Diana, my wife, who was a teacher as well, quit school to be home with the children. I never asked her to stay home. I never asked her to quit her job. And I know it was the hard decision for her to make, but she made it and it worked out. So when I was gone, many times I was going to preach conventions, revivals around in the Caribbean, outside in Europe, whatever, in Africa and stuff. But when I was gone, she was always there. And whenever we could take them, many times when we travel, we took them with us.
Right. Well, at least you have values that you hold together with your family. Do you guys make family decisions together, Joseph? Some of them?
Oh, yes, a lot of them. We sit with our children, they hear our plans. In fact, when we were buying a house, they were there with us. They went to see the house. And in fact, one time we were going to buy a house on the West Bank. They said, no, we're not going to do that. Because they were all going to church, school in Georgetown. They said, no, that will not be a wise decision, because commute is bad on the West Bank.
Oh, is that right? Okay. Okay. So listen, family is an important part as you get older. All the time, family is important, but as you get older, you kind of gravitate towards more them, despite they're dispersing at the same time, meaning that the kids are getting bigger, they're doing their own thing, but the bond and the union start to get even tighter and tighter as you get older, right? And it's necessary, I think, as you want to live a good life as you get older, family matters. That's my feeling.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Now we go into your topic, fitness. So
I'm
Joseph,
ashamed. I'm embarrassed because I was a fitness enthusiast. You know, when I was in college, I was
I
always doing
know, I know. So let me ask you a question. Do you see fitness as important, as an important, very important step as you get older? Is this
extremely,
necessary?
extremely. It's always best to keep not stop. But
Yeah,
the sad thing, I made a mistake of getting too busy with ministry and family and quit for a while. And so I put on some extra pounds that I should not have.
right.
The
So,
sad thing is that I got sick. You probably don't know this. I got sick in 2011.
no, I don't.
It's a debilitating condition that I had that had me almost not able to write anymore.
Wow.
Couldn't
That's
write my name. I couldn't sign my name. I couldn't get off my bed morning. And a friend of mine hooked me up with a clinic in the United States, Maryland. In fact, I just did surgery, minor invasive surgery to my brain in June,
wow.
in April. And now my hands were shaking like crazy. Now my hands are steady again. I'm walking again. I'm getting off my bed, doing work. And so in the process of getting surgery and recovering, I put on 5 pounds. So put on
Right.
some weight. So now I'm going back I just came home last week, in fact, came home from the US from clinic. And I made a commitment that I have to lose 10 pounds in the next 3 months or so. 10 pounds.
Well, listen, at least you acknowledge that and you have a plan to work towards it, right? And but now you control your own time pretty much, meaning you don't have to get up for a job and all that stuff, right? Do you have a morning ritual that you follow when it comes to a routine for your exercising or your health? Or you just wake up and go do a thing?
Before surgery, I had.
Oh, you had
As I
something.
said, since surgery, I've not done anything. I've just
Okay.
been recovering, and I could not lift heavy weights after for a while. But I'm past that now. I can go back to it. So I
Okay.
would wake up in the morning. I'd go walk around the community. I live in Bel Air Springs here. There's a nice park at the back. I
Okay.
used to walk around the park about 10, 15 times, if not morning. If I skip the morning, I'd do it in the evening 4 or 5 times a week. And then I'll come home. I like weights. I like to lift weights. So I have my own little weights downstairs in the gym. I have my own gym, ride a bike for half an hour. So if it rains like now, ride a bike for half an hour, get warm, get my weights and start working out.
Yeah. Well, I so believe in a little bit of workout, right? I'm more a stretcher, right? I stretch
Right.
every day in the morning. I get up early. I stretch. Sometimes I go jog and do my thing. But I encourage people, to your point here, even a little walk it's important, right? Or is necessary, you know. But a guy like you, so busy, how do you unwind when the day come? How do you relieve some of that?
Man, that's a nice question. It's hard, difficult to answer. I'm gonna try to, but my relaxation is basically movies. That's how I just
Okay.
out my brain gets rested. I
Yeah,
watch
okay.
movies.
Okay.
That's one of my pastime, and I hang out with my
All
wife.
right.
Sometimes sit in the mornings, have lunch, breakfast together. In fact, we try to eat together every morning on the
Nice.
table. And well, the exercise thing, I'm going to get back to it, but I've not been doing it for the last since surgery in April. I've not been able to exercise.
Okay. No, well, by all means, you have to rest up and make sure you're properly okay before you go back into that. You don't want to stress the body or put pressure after the surgery on your body, right? So you need to give it some time, make sure it rests properly, and with the intention of doing it. But do small things. You can walk, right? Like you said,
Oh,
walk.
yes.
You know, those are things that you can in your control, and you can do and you should do. And I encourage my community of listeners that health or fitness is imperative as you get down the slope.
2 years ago, Ray, I started farming.
Oh yeah.
Not for commercial product, but just for relaxation. No, I planted 2,000 suckers, planting suckers, and they're now bearing. Now I'm making money, right? But I'm getting some money every week.
Go around.
Tomorrow is my farm day, so I go to the farm. I park my vehicle about a mile from the farm, half a mile, 3/4 mile from the farm. I do a mile walk to the farm and back to the vehicle.
Yeah.
But I've been doing that since I came home a week ago.
Okay.
So that also relaxes my mind tremendously.
It's like therapy.
Yeah, it is therapy. It is. Working with your hands is very.
Yeah, me too. I really use my hands in the soil. I'm an agriculture major, you know that,
Yes,
right?
correct. Yeah. Yeah, no.
The soil. I like the soil, but what I do personally, I go exercise or a little bit of jog or something to really all the day's work. Yeah. Cool. So I encourage everyone, find what you like to do, find what is good for you, find what is easy that you can manage, and do a little bit of time, build up a habit, and go from there. Okay. So we're going into your big topic, faith. So I tell you what is faith for me, Joseph. So So as for me, faith is, how do I put it nicely so that you get my message? You know, you can live without your wife, you can live without your mom, you can live without your dad, you can live without your husband, brother, sister, kids, but certain things you shouldn't live without: a dream and a vision. And once you have a dream and a vision and you put energy on it and you work on it, it will come. But the other half of the thing is that you have to believe in something, some power, whether it be a Christian, Hindu, Muslim, whatever your religion is, and you believe in that power and left that rest to God or the power. And for me, that's my faith. So I believe that the things will come my way. So we part that knowledge to my business partner, Sean, who's my little guy, and Greg, or my big son. So we share that from them. But I'm grateful for that learning of all this faith stuff from my beautiful wife, Judy. She educated me and helped me and to be where I am with that. And now I can share that back to the world. And that's faith for me. Your turn.
Well, that's my pet area. So faith for me has been tremendous support. It's, for me, the Bible says faith is it's the biblical definition. It's a very difficult one to break down, but I'll try. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Two things here. You're hoping for something that is not there yet.
Correct.
And you're seeing something that can be seen.
Correct.
That's what my faith is. My faith is putting my trust in God.
Yes.
And the work of his son. And I'm a Christian, right?
Yes.
I'm a preacher. And I don't want to preach. I don't want to sound like I'm preaching, but my faith, if I should share my faith, is belief in Christ who has died for my sin, according to the Bible. And I rest in his work finished on the cross. So I don't have to work to be good enough. I can never be good enough. I found out that I could never be good enough to match up to what God's standard is for me. Because the more I try, the more I fail. And so I rest on his work, and live in his righteousness. That's my faith. And I try to be the best person to my fellow men. It's waste time to have a faith and you can't help people,
Quite true. Quite.
The Bible said true religion is that you visit the sick, you visit those who are in prison, give those who are hungry food, put clothes on people who are naked. That's what true religion truly is.
Right.
So our faith must prompt us to do good.
Yes.
That's what it is. So that's my faith in me.
Yeah, and a lot of people at times, let's say they get ill, or they lose their job, or they lose their partner, or whatever, whether it be in death or in whatever separation, and we say they lose faith in something or whatever. But I think faith is there for all of us, but we just have to believe in the thing and just focus on it, and things will come. Because, if you don't look for it, if you don't vision it, if you don't dream it,
right,
ain't gonna happen.
No,
ain't gonna happen. I have a perfect example of that, right? I sure in Guyana this day. If there's a subdivision building, at the corner of that subdivision, there's a beautiful picture of the house and on the finished product, but the rung is not even big as yet.
Yeah.
Someone has an idea, someone has a vision, they put that on paper or painting, and then after, boom, you see the building exactly the same as the picture.
Yeah, that's the power of vision.
Yeah, the power of vision, that's correct.
They say, I was reading somewhere that when Disney World was being opened formally, Walt was dead. Walt Disney built.
That's right.
And on the podium, his wife was invited to speak, and the guy who was doing the chairperson work, he said, "I wish that Walt was there to see this." She said, when she made her first statement, she said, "No, he saw this long before we did."
Right.
Long before he was the first one to see
He was the man to see it before. He saw it all. That's
faith
true.
That's faith, vision, seeing what is not seen.
Correct. So, how Joseph, how would you encourage somebody who is now feeling, I don't want to say the word blessed, but who are now feeling that stuff is not coming their way, or they're not getting the job they wanted, or they're not getting the marriage they wanted, or the life they wanted? How would you help them to understand that faith matters?
Yeah, it does. Ray, the thing is, a person has got, for me, I don't think I sought after God. but there was deep down, because I was raised a Christian as a boy.
Yeah.
There was deep down in my soul, in my spirit, whatever you want to call it, there was that longing for something better than life offers. And in fact, I was telling somebody one day I sat in my friend's hammock in Briarhead, in Barbies, where I grew up. And I thought to myself, I was going to work. I just left school. I had a job. I was going to work, coming home in the afternoon. And in the weekend, we go drink beers, go see a movie. I said, boy, this life is boring. Every day is the same thing. Weekend is the same. You can predict my life. I said,
that's right.
It's like the life of an ant. And I can't continue. I said, this is what life is all about. I don't want this. And, I went to a crusade that they had in the village, and I stood out in the back there, and I just stopped to hear the song. And eventually I was in the ground. My friend was with me. And when the guy preached, I don't remember what he said, but something in that preaching attracted me. I said, no, this is the life I want. And I walked up to the altar and confessed my sins and then started going to church. And that was it. That was the beginning of it. So there must be something that pulls you. There must be something that you want, really want. I believe everybody wants something. You gotta want something if you're still alive. If you're alive and you don't want anything, something is wrong. There must be a drive in you, a pull for something.
Absolutely. That's what I was telling you, the dream. You have to have that dream.
Correct. Yeah. You gotta go after it. And if you have to pray, man, pray. Whoever you want to pray, call a name of somebody you want to trust in, and pray and ask the Lord to, whoever your Lord is, help you go to that dream. Because God cannot help you, God can help you. I believe He sure can answer prayer.
Joseph, I believe if you don't ask, you don't get.
You don't get, yeah. In fact, Jesus Himself said, ask and it shall be given. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be opened. We got to ask.
And none of our problem is as big as we think. There is big problems out there for a lot of people, but it's all manageable, I think. It's all manageable.
You only lose when you give up, Ray.
Oh, absolutely. That's
you
true.
Cannot lose, and as long as you keep fighting, you can't lose. And they say that a lot of people commit suicide. Those who commit suicide, if they'd waited 10 minutes more, they would have changed their mind. Yeah. So if you're one of those who are listening to us here, if you're one of those who are contemplating, putting an end to what you struggle, don't. Because you can wake up tomorrow and the whole world can change for you, for good too.
Yeah.
So just wait. Might be tomorrow, might be next month, might be next week, might be the next minute.
That's true.
So don't just give up life, because if you give up life, that's the end of it. If you don't, once you fight, we're here to fight now. We can make it. You are going to make it. I want to speak to those men who are struggling. You can make it. You're a winner. Norman Vincent Peale wrote a book. I guess you read it.
No, I heard the name. I didn't read the book.
Power of Positive Thinking.
Yes.
He said you're a winner from the time you were born, because out of 5 million sperm cell, one got to that egg, and you were that one. I was that one. I felt so good about myself. I mean, if you are alive, you're a winner, man. So don't say you lost. You're not lost. You won from the very beginning. And that's why you're on the earth. Yeah, that was the fastest race you ever ran, and you made it. You beat 5 million people, 5 out of 5 million cells.
Yeah. No, but people are challenged day to day. But if they can only hear us and believe that there is an outcome at the end of the struggle, but you got to make an effort. You have to want to. But one of the killer for a lot of people, Joseph, is routine. Routine habits are good if they're good, like if to your health and all of that. But routine habits can be bad if one thing, like you said, your friend when you were prior to in Briarhead when you guys meet up, that all you do work, have a couple of beers, same story weekend. Your routine is bad. You need to change. You need to break it up. You need to do something better. Take a stand and do something different. Read a book. There's with today's technology, there's knowledge all over this place, from YouTube, books, ebooks, all over the place. And there's some good material out there, which I encourage people to go after and listen to shows like this and read some good material, listen to YouTube, other YouTube videos that are available, and able to educate themselves.
Yeah, that's true. Listen to people who are successful in an area that you enjoy, or you aspire to be. If you aspire to be a speaker, listen to good speakers. I mean, absolutely. If you want to be a doctor, study good doctors, study their work. If you want to be an artist, look at good painting.
Absolutely.
That's how it works. We're not a world in ourselves. We learn from each other.
Yeah, if you want to know the journey ahead, you ask those who are coming back.
That's right.
right? So it's simple as that. Yeah.
Perfect.
Good. You got anything you want to share before we split on to the audience on Joseph and his belief in faith, or Joseph as a whole? You want to say something to my audience? Go ahead.
Thanks, Ray. It's just that I have always said to you and I are both teachers, and I've said to my students many times in high school, I said, be yourself. Always try to be yourself. Strive to be you and nobody else. Be yourself, your best self, your highest self. Don't try to be you are a cheap imitation if you try to imitate anybody. There's already one Ray. I'm not going to try to replace him. There's already one Joseph. You can never replace me. Be yourself, man. Be yourself. You're unique. I said to my young people recently in a meeting, I said, listen, when God made you, he threw the mold away. There's no other one like you, unique in yourself. And there are unique gifts, unique talents, unique aspirations in you. And you are a winner, as I said. You can make it. And let's challenge the man. I want to challenge those who are listening to us tonight. You can make it. You don't have to give up. You don't have to think that you've undersold yourself. You may have undersold yourself. You can do better. And you are not an underachiever. You can achieve if you strive. Nobody's holding you back. The only person that makes you lose is you.
Is you. Quite true. Quite true.
The only person who can make you lose is you. When you give up, you lose. Fight on.
That's right. I got one thing I tell a lot of people, well, Ray, I'm doing all of this and results not coming. I said, listen, man, God is busy helping people who need help more than you. And when the turn comes, he's going to come to you.
He's going to come to you, yes. That's right. I like that.
Yeah. Cool. All right, Joseph, listen, this was a pleasure having you on the show. What I would ask you, do you want me to put the caption at the bottom there for anybody to contact you, or you're good? You don't, like most of my guests, we contact.
Yeah, if they want to find, that's all right. They can contact me. You got my email, right? Yeah.
I got your email and your phone number. You okay with me putting it there?
Fine. I can. If there's anything I can do to help your audience, I'm willing to help. That's my life. In fact, my life is to be a service to everybody.
I know that. That's why I said, let me reach out to you right away. I know this guy going to jump all over this call.
Yeah, blessings. It was a pleasure, man. Very.
So what I'm going to ask you before we split, what I would ask you to do is to subscribe and share this video to a lot of people as possible and ask for subscription for us. Okay. So, sure. Sorry, go ahead.
Sure will.
Okay. And
I'm to all my friends, all my pastor friends and everybody.
Okay, perfect. And we do interviews all across the world. So I'm taking guys from anywhere. So that's cool. And so what I'll ask my guests, if you like this episode, please subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button, and more to come. We still got lots of good guests lined up, and I'm excited to share and continue sharing to the group. So Joseph, thank you very much for your time, and I do appreciate you coming on the show. Thank you.
Pleasure is mine, man. Stay in touch.
Bye.